Today's horoscope from Astrocademy, Pisces July 12, 2022. The first part of the day isn't an ideal time to present an important idea or to win other support. Be a little more mindful of how you express yourself, as misunderstandings are possible. It may not be the best day to get the feedback you seek. You more readily see the flaws in plans and relationships, but perhaps too much so temporarily. A Sun-Uranus sextile influences the later part of the day, helping open you up and improving flexibility. Your unique perception, advice, or viewpoint can be on display. Detaching from a situation just a little enables you to get perspective. There can be fun developments or progress related to creative play and expression. This is one of those days in which your heart is pounding with excitement, but for some reason, there is a quiet voice inside you warning that you may be getting yourself into a great deal of trouble. An enthusiastic approach towards love may be necessary, but today may not be the best day to take action. People are going to be a bit too sensitive and not necessarily that impressed with your potentially abrasive attitude. Fight for your worth. Usually, you are a soft-spoken water sign, but you may feel differently as Mercury in Cancer squares Jupiter in Aries. The square implies that you may feel so strongly that it results in an assertive conversation. You are a creative person, someone who is attuned to the dedication of their work and vision. So, this will likely result in strong conversations as you will want your colleagues to respect the value of your passion. Taking a stand can do wonders for the security of your work. An excellent forecast for the day. The channels of communication will be wide open. You will find it much easier to exchange ideas and contribute to creating a harmonious and tolerant environment. Although you usually tend to think in exclusively individual terms, your mind will be open to other people's input. You are Aries at his best today. Relations and friends are having a hard time with you and vice versa. Put an end to this mutual feeling of frustration, be honest with yourself and consider compromising on some points. Talking to people to clear things up is also a big help. Regard today's negative atmosphere as an opportunity to resolve conflicts permanently. Don't give up, you're just about to hit it big. Your confidence is lagging a little, but if you prop it up, by any means necessary, for a little while, you won't be sorry. Whatever you try to achieve is criticized and unlikely to be accepted in a very favorable way, especially if you feel undue pressure to perform any kind of activity. It is far better to delay important activities or decisions until you feel positive about the outcome. Use your sense of humor to relieve any tension. Try to practice diplomacy today. You could find yourself in a tricky situation where you need something from two parties who are in disagreement and whom are both looking to you to intervene on their behalf. You can get what you want if you are patient. Stay focused on your goals, and don't be afraid to be firm. If people around you are moody right now, keep a positive attitude. Take care that you don't act too stubborn on this day. This is an especially helpful vibration when it comes to getting organized and working within a structured environment. It can see you extremely focused on what needs to be done. But on the flip side, if you are already this way normally, you can become far too rigid. Stay flexible and receptive, as this is far more conducive to growth and development. You will miss out on opportunities if you are too stiff. At the same time that the moon is wrapping up a visit to your career sector that is helping you to get your professional bearings ahead of new doors opening on the job front next week, the moon delivers some fleeting work and life balance reminders. With things taking a busier turn from early next week but the Sun and Mercury both spending their last full week in a fun, playful, romantic and creatively charged part of your chart, this is a call to take a balance between work and play seriously. With the Sun and Mercury both in their last full week in your romantic sector but Venus, the planet of love, returning early next week, the most romantically charged weeks of the year are still in front of you. This makes it important to heed any work and life balance reminders today, especially with some busier times ahead. Our eyes in the sky. When you wake up feisty and wanting to do your own thing, You can blame it on the rebellious fixed lunar T-square between ambitious Saturn and Uranus, the planet of shaking things up. There are inevitable challenges during this cosmic three-way that will have you digging into your own opinions and convictions and wanting to stand your ground even further, which can push arguments, altercations, and confrontations to some pretty epic levels. Which is fine if you live alone and don't have to deal with anyone. But if you have to make your way into the world to get along with and listen to people in positions of authority during this controlling planetary energy, there are ways to work with this polarizing square-off. Backing down won't be on your radar, but taking a more logical perspective might help you combat your need to be right about everything. Because even you can admit that isn't realistic, right? A helpful aspect between Lady Luna and optimistic Jupiter brings a lighter energy to the party, putting us all in the mood to show compassion and celebrate one another. Your psychic abilities could be on fire right now as well, making it the ideal time to bust out your pendulum or tarot cards. Just remember to take cleansing breaths if you happen to encounter anyone with less than ideal vibes. In the morning, the Sagittarius moon forms a trine with the Cancer sun, offering a harmonious start to the day. Because our ego and emotions are in sync, we exude confidence in our relationships. Still waters run deep with the moon in penetrative Sagittarius, so although this influence favors socializing, we'll prefer to spend our time with those who we know well and trust. We're unafraid of going into taboo territory, eager to understand what makes others tick. Remember your objectives. If we don't retain anything to sustain ourselves, we are giving from an empty cup. Following this, the moon opposes Uranus in Taurus, stimulating anxiety. We are suddenly struck with the urge to break from the status quo, and our behavior can seem bizarre to those around us. Be aware that acting on our passions and making rash decisions can have certain consequences, especially if we let fears steer our course. Instead, consider how opening ourselves up to change with temperance in mind can be transformative and productive. Yet, much of the hurt inflicted upon ourselves now is the byproduct of being unwilling to stand in our truth. Addictions to substances or relationships will be especially difficult to navigate now. Ultimately, the issues unearthed during this connection cannot be swept under the rug, so it is valuable, however challenging in the moment, to deal with their exposure.